Welcome to Enter the Metaverse. I'm your co-host for today, Wayne Smith. I'm joined by our other co-host, Dion Cox, and of course, Nini Meti Cole. Okay, so we're going to discuss a lot of different subjects on our podcast. Today, we're going to talk about FIRE, but you can expect to hear a lot more about crypto, stocks, market activity, even commodities, futures, things like that, real estate, financial news, and a lot of things that are just happening right now. Even when businesses are trying to be built, entrepreneurial interests as well. So today our subject is FIRE, F-I-R-E, financial independence, retire early. And we're going to go into our disclaimer. We always have to do this. Everything that we talk about on here is just our opinion. None of us are financial advisors. None of the content in Enter the Metaverse should be considered financial advice. It should be only considered for enlightenment and stock market entertainment purposes only. And so please don't take anything that we say as the gospel for your financial decisions. We're not responsible for your personal investment decisions. With all that being said, I'm going to kick our meeting off and we can talk about FIRE. I saw some interesting things that are on the web, and some of them really caught my eye. Now, our last podcast, we discussed FIRE, financial independence, retire early. And I'm going to show you a website. I'm going to share this to our screen because it's something we should be aware of. Let's do this here. It is, and Dion was on point. I thought Dave Ramsey had a lot to do with FIRE, and he does, but that was way before this particular group here, these two people.
Subtraction.
Yep. I found out that it was in 1992. There was a book written by Vicki Robin and Joe Dominguez, Your Money or Your Life, written in 1992. And that's where the idea of financial independence, retire early, came into fruition. Instead of working into your 60s, finding ways to really be frugal, invest wisely, carefully, prudently, and retire early so you can enjoy more of your life with doing things that you love. And so
now you know you gotta send me that book, right?
Oh,
you know you gotta send me that book now, right?
Yeah,
I gotta read that now.
So that shows its early beginnings. Nini, were you familiar with FIRE? When we talked week?
In a different term though, but not coined like the FIRE term, but I know about taking financial responsibility so you can retire early. So I'm really familiar with that.
Yeah. And I saw this article. This isn't one of the best, but it's one that most people probably have seen. And I should have actually done a Google Trends to see if this article, if this particular thought process was really trending. But again, it just says the FIRE movement means financial independence, early retirement. And the goal is to allow younger individuals to retire early with financial freedom by cutting expenses, saving money, and investing wisely. All right. So it talked about the average retirement of 60 to 65 years of age. And that's, a lot of people like me, I'm 63. I wanted to do this earlier, but when you have kids and things like that, things get out of whack.
And then you want to enjoy life.
Well,
isn't that the first thing that you think of when you have kids? You want to take them to Six Flags. You want to take them to King's Dominion. It's not really. It's like you when you're saving. It's like when you have kids, you feel like you're suffocating them, and that's one of the biggest things that I've seen with the community. Like they have like a community where they try to find free things. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're on point. And you like to feed them every now and then.
Have some shrimp every once in a while.
Like to have windows on your house, At least 3.
Oodles and noodles get old real quick.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'd like to have at least 3 working tires on your car, you know. So you get caught up, and you know, I married early too. You know, I thought my wife was the love of my life when I saw her in high school at a locker. And I said, oh man, that woman, I'm gonna marry. You know, well, sure enough, you know, 42 years later, and here we are, right?
Wow.
But
yeah, but that's why you've accomplished so much.
Yes,
you established a good partner at an early age.
Yes, and you know something, Dion, that's an excellent point. FIRE does not consider who you marry. That is one of the biggest things, I think, especially
Man, that's what I was gonna point out when you got through it, because most of the people that do it, when you YouTube them or look them up, it's always a couple.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's typically always a couple. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And they're working together, like you said. They're working together.
Exactly. Partnership.
It takes
and even
two to tango.
What'd you say, Nini?
Yeah. I said it takes 2 to tango.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. And in more ways than one. That's how you got them kids.
Yeah.
Too much.
You ain't do it by yourself.
I know, right?
That's right. So this particular article brought that out, and you know, there's quite a few ways people make money, a lot of money, and gain wealth that FIRE doesn't talk about. But one is having a business and then selling it. A lot of people make really phenomenal. When they have a business and then they do a merger and acquisition, they sell the business for 20, 30, 50 times what they paid for the business.
Or arbitrage. You're correct. Or how do you say that word? Arbitrage or arbitrage?
Yeah, arbitrage. Yeah, arbitrage. Yeah.
Yeah, either or. Yeah.
That's, you know, and a lot of people, you know, I know this from some people that I know personally. They've had huge lawsuits. Something has happened to them that's been wrong, and they've sued the party. And my wife, when she worked at DuPont, that was another big thing around in that West Virginia area. You know, I can't say too much about it, and you know, but there was been movies made of it, and people got large sums of money from lawsuits. So there's 2 ways that FIRE doesn't really talk about. Not saying you're going to run out and jump in front of the car.
They do talk about the inheritance. But yeah, it's true. But they do talk about the inheritance.
Yes, the inheritance. You know, so, and then there's lottery winners. There's people that make, you know, there's a few of them out there. And they squandered a lot of time.
Didn't you do a case study on that, on the quickest way, the 3 quickest ways that people get wealth, inheritance?
It was 5.
Huh?
Insurance.
5?
It was 5 ways. Insurance settlements,
inheritance.
of course, lottery, inheritance, and then selling a business that you have. And there was legal settlements. Okay.
So in other words, not going to court. So it's not like the insurance part or the
well, you go and then everybody says, well, maybe we can settle this, because it gets to that point where your attorney is winning.
Yeah. They're like, you know, that number you got, can we work? I see you.
Yeah. Let's talk about this outside, you know. Yeah. So this is the other point about FIRE. I thought this was interesting. Is the FIRE movement corrupt? I just think it's about people. What do you guys think? It's not the movement itself. To me, it's the people.
The people, yeah.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree. It's the people.
Yeah.
So, of course, we all do our little studies before we have these money-making discussions, these valuetainment discussions. I ran into a lot of people that were really just living off of their interest. The movement seems to have changed, and it's like they're not realizing how they're putting themselves in a hole because they're just worried about the interest off their either investments. And I know later on you want to talk about my progression, but anyway, they're just worried about the interest off their life insurance or the interest being made off of their investments, and that's it. And I kept like running into these people, and I'm like, no one started a little part-time, like, you know, retirement, I guess is different. I guess like the new age 30, 40-year-old individual. So I guess everyone knows now we're all over 30, but they just look at retirement as doing nothing.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
kind of weird to me.
I
Yeah.
feel like sometimes they are young and they feel like I just want to just enjoy my life. So if they are able to set themselves in that position, they just want to go around and just like have a good time.
And
Yeah, but I guess
in
with our background, life doesn't work like that, does it, Nini?
No, not really. Like, but you can tell different generations, approach certain things differently.
I like that.
Yep. And
That's a fact.
another thing is there's a movement. We're getting off FIRE a little bit, but showing how FIRE doesn't change with cultural changes. There's a movement called laying down in Asian countries where because they have those cafes where you can just sit there and play games, video games all day.
Oh yes, we talked about that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're just playing video games all day, and they learn to live on almost nothing.
Cubicles.
Yes.
And living inside the cubicle. Yes, that is bananas. Japan. What else was it? It was Japan. I think it was Taiwan too.
Korea.
I have to look at it again.
Yep.
Korea. Yes. Japan, Korea. Yeah. You
and
imagine that living in an 8x? Well, hey, I drive a semi truck, so I guess I could imagine it.
Yeah. Live in an 8-foot tube, for $19. $19 a week. Live in an 8-foot. Yep. So there's a lot that FIRE doesn't really encompass. We're not here to debunk FIRE. It just has to be seen in the right way. Now, in this particular article, right here, in this, most of them used to hang out in the crypto trading MLM, enter a get-rich-quick scheme of your choice universe. And what they were doing they were saying, buy my CDs, buy my calculator, my Excel spreadsheets with calculations on it, buy this, buy that, enter our club where you invest. And then they were just running off with the money.
Money, yeah.
And so right there in that caption, many of the loudest voices are pushing products at every turn. And you see that a lot, especially like on your YouTube videos and stuff. I got rich buying real estate. I make $24,000 a day buying real estate. Really? No, you can't. You can't.
That's bananas. That was the last video that I watched. It was a couple that did FIRE. And they were like, look, we just got monetized. And I'm looking, they only have 1,900. And I'm like, how the world did you get monetized? And like, they're going to build a business off of their monetization. And I'm like, they just bought a house with land. And you know me, I'm a country boy. So I'm like, when y'all going to get some chickens and some goats? Like, you want to make some money?
And some real land.
To me, that's retirement right there. I could just walk outside my house and, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But that's not what
people money right outside the door.
But people don't want to do that.
Hey, but Dion, you see what I'm saying?
I see that.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
different culture.
Different generations and how they approach FIRE, right? To you, when you have a land, that's pretty much like, okay, I can have some goods, I can have some chickens, whatever it is, I can start up. But maybe the 25 or the 30-year-old, they might approach it differently. They might need just more than like, what maybe me and you might see like, okay, I think this setup is pretty much like, it's going to help me do what I want to do and get that financial freedom.
What do you say? What do you say?
I'm going to give my cousin as an example. He's like 25. And when the crypto started, right, he was in a good space. He was in a good space I was telling him, hey, okay, don't retire fully. Just do contractual like work. Like you can sign up for 6 months and stop. But then he started thinking about buying a Lambo, buying all this like, nice and flashy stuff. And
chasing the Joneses, keeping up with the Joneses.
Different generations. While I was pushing him towards acquiring assets, he didn't treat it like that. He felt like, okay, now I didn't have all these things. Now I have the money. Let me just enjoy it. Then crypto winter came. Then he was like, bro, I should have listened to your advice. I'm like, well, at least you've experienced it. So the next time we go into a bull run, you know how to set yourself up so that you can have that financial freedom. And I want him to retire early because he looks like he can retire early.
Well, and look at
that's the reason why we're having these. Oh, go ahead.
No, that's true, Dion. That's why we're having these discussions. Look at the time we're living in right now. It's a great time to start buying some stock, crypto, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. So there are a lot of people.
Another reason.
Oh, go ahead.
Another reason why I say we're having these discussions, because if we would have had that discussion earlier, I have a cousin that's doing Toro, and I guess we can say he's done F.I.R.E, right? You know, all he does is sit around and rent out vehicles. So, like you said, your cousin wanted to get a Lambo or something like that. You know, well, hey, why don't he start off with a Wrangler, or why don't he start off with a Camaro or something like that he can put on Toro that he can get him $300 a week,
or a backhoe and rent it.
Well, you know what? Where they are, that's actually correct. Yeah, where they are, or a boat. There's good fishing up there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring something up that with this starting retirement. So he was of the view that smart contracts are the new businesses now, where like all this yield farming and everything comes in. And he was one of the early people that really introduced me to yield farming. So they make some really good chunk of money around that time because there was not a lot of people involved. And he felt that passive income coming in, like, you know, like each and every time, like yield farm, like, you know, stake, do all this stuff. But now there is more adoption than when he started. So you see all these APYs now like dropping. He was the one that told me, hey, you can buy stable coins and just lend it out and make money off your stable coins. You don't have to even buy like any crypto asset. Just buy USDC or DAI, lend it out and get APY. So they had huge APY, maybe like 30%, 40% or more. But now you can only get like maybe 2.5 or 0.5, which you might need to have some big money.
Oh, see, I wish I would have. Look, we got to have these discussions because if I would have known that percentage, I would have dropped a few grand in there.
Dude, like that was big money for that because like let's say you have 20,000 in USDC and you are getting like what 50% or 40% every month.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so he didn't even think about starting a business because he felt like, if I can get this cool money coming in each and every month, that should be okay. But then you have the institutions coming in with the big money now because stable coins are stable. They don't go, they are just like that. So if they can make like 20% of their money, why not? They'll just buy stable coins.
So this is full circle then. So that's just what Wayne is talking about with people running away or whatever. And that's what I was talking about earlier. People are complaining now because of the direction or where the market is. They don't really have the cash. Now, if anyone's listening to this, you know, soon, right, I would say get rid of your house. You know what I'm saying? Inflation's so bad and the housing market is so daggone large. If you really wanted to do it, like I see people getting rid of what they paid for $125,000, $150,000 houses, and they're getting rid of them for $400,000. You know, if you need to take in those assets. But like Wayne and I have discussed, because we used to have these discussions all the time. That's what a lot of rich people do when things get bad. Like me as a truck driver, I've seen so many antique nice cars going down the road getting sold to somebody else because, you know, Billy or Johnny, he's 60, 70 years old. His son don't want that car, and inflation's so high right now. He can sell that bad boy for $80,000, where it was, you know, 2 years ago he probably only got 20 for it.
Yeah.
Why not collect all that money that he can, build up that pile, and that's where we are right now.
Yep. Before the
get worse, or it's going to get better.
The housing market.
Oh, it's going to get better, but it's going to hurt.
It's gonna.
And I'll go with Wayne with the housing market. He's the housing guy.
The next 6 months.
I thought he was talking about the economy, not the housing.
New home starts. You know, 92% it's down 92%. So the new homes that are being built.
Housing market.
Yes, it's getting horrible, especially on the coastal cities.
Oh yeah.
In the Midwest,
that's where all the high end stuff is. I'm on the coast. Yeah,
that's right. You know, where we live, It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
If you can see the ocean, then you know you're gonna you can't afford
That's
rent.
a fact.
And you know, so
That's a fact. It's getting rough.
and looking at FIRE doesn't say, Dion, what you're saying is to take your best asset that you've made maybe 100, 200, 300,
Liquidate.
4% and liquidate it, live more frugally, you know, get a double wide or something.
What do we say in the last one? Be a minimalist for a little while.
Yeah,
till the market turns around.
And heavily invest.
Or even if they wanted to rent it out, because you think about it, like 2-3 years ago, you know, rents. Like, okay, let's use myself as an example. Rents for me 2-3 years ago, right by the water. I jog to the ocean when I get up in the morning when I'm at home, and it only takes me 15 minutes. And that's to the ocean and back. And daggone rents weren't nothing but $800 2-3 years ago. Right now they're $1,500-$1,600.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So if a person could just rent that out and then do something with so in the FIRE program, usually from what I'm seeing, I got to read this book now. That's what's echoing in my head. What I'm seeing is they're dumping a bunch of money into assets and then getting the interest off of those assets. Now is the time before the market would have failed. Man, I feel like I'm giving away secrets. But yeah, if you can see it on the chart, you see the recession coming. You see the the bond market, you know, fluctuating on the 2 or the 5 year, and you know it's just that time. The market is overextended. It's gotten to, and that's what a lot of people are thinking. They're thinking that it's because of Corona and this, that, and the third. But if you look at these car manufacturers, they've been wanting to fire people for daggone 4 and 5 years.
Oh yeah.
The market has been extended for a long time now.
Over leveraged.
So
Terribly over leveraged.
Yeah. So when you see it sell before daggone it falls, you know, do your little liquidation. That would be ingenious. Yeah. And then if you had a home, hop out of that home and rent it. And your mortgage would probably be like back then. I know somebody in the coast, the Gulf Coast, and their rent, they're like 5 miles from the ocean. Their mortgage, not rent, their mortgage is $700. I'm like, leave. Rent that bad boy out now. They're like, wow. I'm like, you can get $1,200 to $1,500 easy. Get out of there.
Easily. Easy money. Have somebody else pay your mortgage, right?
Yeah.
Have somebody else pay your mortgage. Go and get something smaller.
Like, you know, liquidate most of your like assets that you really bank big on. So I mean, this group like African Americans, you know, transitioning and like finding retirement outside America. Some people choosing to go to Africa. Some people choosing to go to where like the dollar has more strength than the currency of those countries. And
yes.
I'm taking Ghana as an example. Most people
we already talked about it. Yes.
Most people are selling their houses at that peak where they can make a big bank, and they are buying properties along most of these tourism sites in Ghana, like the slave castles and everything.
Forget just properties. Come on, tell the truth. I'm seeing them buy farms, bruh.
They
whole
are
farms.
Airbnb. Just Airbnb. They are not even renting.
Crazy.
And like their returns, because they charge the stay there in dollars. They don't charge it in my local currency.
Right.
So the local currency is depreciating against the dollar. It gives them the purchasing power because the dollar is strong because they have it. So they can acquire most properties for cheap.
Yes.
So
blue market. Do y'all call it the blue market there too?
Pretty much, yeah. So
blue market.
They sell the house, one house, and they can acquire like land, houses, and just do multiple stuff with it. So I'm like, okay, man, that looks like a smart thing, because at the end of the day, when those with those assets, because we also have a cycle where like everything drops and everything kind of booms again. So when everything banks, they'll cash out and look for the next thing again. So they go globe.
Yes.
Pretty much that's what it looks like. Globe trotting. So if The housing market is crashing the US.
Know when to expand and know when to shrink. Know when to expand and when to shrink.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now, so what we're saying
Good
is
conversation.
FIRE has good principles, but sometimes we have to look at our resources a little bit differently, and maybe even check on our relatives in other countries to see what advantages we can get there. Look at the currency, Dion, like you were saying, like Nini, like you were saying, currency differences. Look at the treasury bonds, and maybe
look at the economy. Yeah,
is that mansion-like house that you could sell for $400,000 or $500,000 that mom and dad purchased for $10,000 and gave it to you because they're not living anymore. So that inheritance you could turn around and actually reinvest it in the market. Nini, you made a point, and I'm going to follow up on that point. I'm going to look on my account here, Uphold, and I noticed that I'm getting 25% APY on Kava.
Wow.
And that's just staking. I'm also Kusama is 18% annual percentage yield. So I'm getting,
my goodness.
I'm staking Kava at 25. Now I'm going to tell you what I do. Because I'm staking at 25, I can take 25% of my Kava and then roll it into Ethereum.
Ethereum, okay.
You see? So
I got you.
Getting a free 25%, I can take that 25% while Kava is still going to give me 25% APY and roll it into Ethereum. So Kava's buying my Ethereum.
That's how I was doing it. Like, make me money so I can.
You made him excited.
It's like easy money. It's easy money. Like, if you know how to play the trick, it's easy money.
Yes. Sorry. Got him excited. I ain't never heard Nini excited. That's what's up. Now I gotta do it, definitely. I ain't never heard Nini excited.
I can make some extra money to buy or work to make extra money to buy Ethereum. I'm gonna let my income buy another income so that I can buy another asset with my income. Pretty much.
And staking is very, very, it's conservative, it's safe, and people that are listening to this particular podcast, they need to, just hit us up when we have comments up, and we can discuss it on a different podcast, and even spend a whole podcast on the DeFi, the issues that DeFi has, and how to circumvent some of those, as well as doing the simple things like just staking.
Just staking, that's it. Save yourself from yourself. Just
Facts.
take it.
Yep, that's right. That's right. Don't think about it too hard.
No, just take it and chill.
So
since you brought go ahead.
Nina, you mentioned a book. You said you found a book. There's not a lot of great books on crypto. There's a lot of books out, and a lot of them are
Rosa. Didn't you say that too?
Did you have
I think she said she found something at the library or something.
Yeah, she said she found something dope. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
was that you too, Nini?
It looks like most libraries now are beginning to stock their shelves with crypto, even though they don't have a lot of authors that are really writing it. They might just pick some articles or whatever to patch it up. And, just put a book on the shelf to at least give somebody an in-depth knowledge, like a first-hand knowledge about what crypto is and everything. But like there's like, as compared to stocks, they don't have that much books like that can give you in-depth knowledge about crypto.
And also look at the community. The stock market community is run by very large, wealthy individuals. So there's going to be more.
I was about to say their names. It begins with an R, but I was about to say their names. They run that Wiley book production. So even though you're learning how to trade stocks, options, or futures, it's a rich person giving you that information.
Giving you the game.
The reason why they would give you that information is so they can get the money out of you.
Facts. So if you make the wrong move, big facts.
Yes. And how easy is it to make the wrong move?
Easy.
Very emotions.
There you go. That's the word.
As easy it is to get you emotional.
Emotion.
Yeah, that's it.
Don't love.
And there's a lot of things out of our control. They need our liquidity for the markets. They need retail's liquidity, if you want to use that term, liquidity. They need the
liquidity.
Liquidity.
and this is my biggest issue with the stocks and then crypto, and I trade forex. So doing options and then doing forex, I can kind of see it. It's like, where are things gonna go? Yeah, you have Binance, one of the biggest platforms there is out here to trade, cryptos and currencies. But it's like they all can't fit together, and I think that's what the biggest fear is. Like, when will one consume the other? And no one's talking about that, because it's like, okay, so I know a lot of people with this whole new craze with the stock market didn't know or realize that the first time that the Olympics were in China, China was using a digital currency. I think it was in 2008, 2006,
Wow.
to do purchases. So this was years ago. So they've already been on top of it.
Yeah, that was in
And
Olympic Village.
we can't really dial into how big China is in the crypto.
Yep.
We're too early of a podcast to get into things like that. But yeah, that's where like it kind of like raises hairs on the back of my neck. It's like, I don't know which way things will go, because it's like, okay, someone was bringing up like an ETF form of a crypto, right?
Yeah.
And as you guys know, I'm not that big into crypto, so I'm like, do they have a proof to stake? Can you stake it? Does it have yielding? What blockchain is it on? Does it get printed out? Can you get a copy of the printout? And they were clueless. They were just like, look, you could just get an ETF type of the crypto. And I'm like, okay, does it have any utilization? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all this stuff is so brand new. It's like,
one of the problems with ETFs, when you get ETFs, I saw a report, and we're kind of, this is all cautionary. Okay, this is a lot of what we're talking about now is cautionary.
Exactly. Yeah, we're stepping on eggshells. Yeah.
When you get an ETF, 90% of the stock market's ETFs are heavily shorted, 20% or more. And it's easy pickings. ETFs are the strength of an ETF is that a basket of stocks, right? That's also its weakness.
Yeah.
If I want to attack 20 different stocks, I can do it one time through an ETF. And so I can short that ETF. And so it doesn't give you the yield that you really should be getting in a naturally flowing free market.
But I mean, I guess the listener will know like how open these conversations are. Like, wouldn't you have to be like one of the most massive hedge funds though for it to affect the individual stock? Like, it's just really affecting the ETF. Now I see it in reverse, right?
Well,
so
the
like
ETF,
SPY, SPY is one of my favorites.
The weighting of the ETF makes it vulnerable to being shorted, as well as the unlimited shares, the unlimited synthetic shares that could be created, because with ETFs, they don't have to report. Whereas with Facebook, let's say, if I'm a short Facebook or Tesla or Amazon or XYZ stock,
I see you.
I have to file the SEC and make a report, because it's a basket. It's not the stock, it's a basket of them. So it makes it vulnerable.
Yeah.
And so they can just short it and short it and short it to death. I'm talking about naked shorting. I'm not talking about just running just simple short strategies like or structure.
I ain't worried about them, because so like to me with that, it seems like they would just be shorting to get the money, but pushing it down overall when the ETF itself could just balance itself out. I mean, now we're getting into stocks heavy. So, if you ever hear this, Kathy Woods, you're my favorite. We all love you on this side. But that's what they tried to do to her.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't bury her, because then she would just balance out the portfolio. And because she would do it publicly, they would go and attack that, and then she'd just balance out the portfolio again. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, even if they was to do that, if you had the, I don't know what you call that, the right tripwire to buy what should be, the next best asset, then they'll just be all over the place. It's almost like when we do the will strategy, but doing it on a massive scale is the best way that I can see it in my brain. That's probably the wrong way to say it. But if you were to do a whole portfolio will strategy and you had 5-10 stocks, then to me, when you drop one, right, you're going to go grab another massive form of another one to balance your portfolio out in that whole wheel.
Yeah, and that's what
I don't know. I'm speculating here.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to do. So basically, when you're in a FIRE strategy, just to kind of wrap it up and
FIRE, yeah,
put some things back in perspective, watch the players in the game. There's a lot of people that want you to buy their product, be a part of their clubs, put in $100, $200, $300, $500, $1,000 a month, and build your FIRE strategy with them. But think about it. That's actually the opposite of what FIRE is saying. It's saying be frugal. Don't spend a lot of your money unless you're going to invest it. And so those things, the way the market is right now, know the products that you're getting in, and a lot of our podcasts can help you get into better products. And one of the reasons why I can say that is because I've gotten into some bad products, and I found out later.
Yeah, you and I both.
God, here we go. Look at this, another shell game. And so once you do that, you don't have to.
I'm still getting those crypto investment emails. Or I don't want to say their name, but I'm just gonna say crypto investment emails. That's
I think Nini's sending them out.
But I'm still getting those.
What did you say again?
I see his picture on a lot of them, but a different name. I don't know. Nini, aren't you sending them out?
No.
Yeah, it say the king at the bottom.
Isn't there a Nini coin out?
Crypto king.
It's a lot of them, and since we're in the bear market, we don't see a lot of them. Once the market turn around and we hit the bull market again, you see all of them pop out again. What happened to Saitama? Nobody heard anything about Saitama again.
No more.
Rock through, like that was like a rock through downtrend. Like,
and it was money to be made in this bear market. Like, yo. When I was telling dudes, hey, look, see a lot of go ahead and get that put on SPY. Yeah, I'm telling you.
All these meme coins are gonna come out again, and people are gonna
stop it. I don't want to see no more AMC. Stop it. I don't even want to think about that. No bull market. I don't want to hear nothing about no AMC, GNUS. I don't want to hear nothing about no Hertz. None of that.
None of that.
Even Sears?
None of that. No Walmart. No. Hey, it's getting cold. I'm waiting on somebody to say something about some CVS. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but it's gonna be ugly.
I'm gonna wrap this up. But we're gonna get together and we're gonna do another podcast, and hopefully when I throw these out, we'll get some comments, subject matter, and we can go from there. All right. So I want to thank everybody for listening to Enter the Metaverse. Please, 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 anything that we say, just remember, we're not financial advisors. We have
financial advice.
That's right. It's not. It's for.
It's just valuetainment.
Yeah, value. But sometimes you need to hear how people lose so you don't lose yourself. And so we want to thank everybody for listening to us. Enter the Metaverse. We're going to close this one out, and we look forward to you listening to our next podcast.